Welcome. Welcome back to a new class, class 179. Are you ready? Where did you spend all your money? Well, I don't spend a lot of money. Yes, but last summer, did you take a vacation? Yes, I did. Where did you go? I went to New York and Texas. Did you spend a lot of money in New York? Well, I spent a little bit. Of course, it's impossible not to spend money in New York City. Yes, I spent some money, but I didn't spend a lot. Did you spend a lot of money in Texas? I think I spent less money in Texas than in New York. New York's more expensive. Well, New York is a little more expensive, and of course, in New York, I went to the theaters in Broadway, and that's a little bit expensive. So I spent more money in New York than in Texas. But how much time did you spend in New York? I spent 2 weeks in New York. How much time did you spend in Texas? I spent 2 weeks in Texas too. Oh, really? 2 and 2. Yes, I spent 1 week. First, I spent the first week in New York. Then I spent the next 2 weeks in Texas. And then I flew back to New York and spent the final week in New York City. Did you have a good time? Yes, I had a good time. Was the weather nice? Yes, the weather was nice. I was lucky with the weather. Did it rain very much? I don't remember any rain. I'm sure it rained one day in Texas or in New York, but I don't remember. Did you rent a car in Texas? Yes, I did. Did you rent a car in New York City? No, I didn't. Why didn't you rent a car in New York? Because it's not really necessary to rent a car in New York City. You can move around by taxi or by public transport or on foot. You can walk. But how many kilometers did you walk in New York City? Last summer, one day, I walked 20 kilometers. Wow. Yeah. One day I walked 20 kilometers. I walked from 57th Street to the end of Central Park and back. And then from 57th Street, I walked down to 31st Street. And then I walked back to 57th. And then I walked to other places, etc. So I walked 20 kilometers one day, I remember. Were you tired at the end of the day? A little bit. I was a little tired. Okay, to spend is gastar dinero, también pasar tiempo. I spend a lot of time reading. I spend a lot of time, I spend a lot of time teaching. I spend a lot of time relaxing. I spend a lot of time eating. I spend a lot of time recording radio shows or doing radio stuff. I spend a lot of time doing things, but I don't spend a lot of time traveling, only during the vacation period. All right, spend. Where did you spend? Where did you hold the meeting? I held the meeting in the meeting room. And why did you hold the meeting in the meeting room? Well, I held the meeting in the meeting room because I always hold my meetings in the meeting room. That's why it's called the meeting room. Es por eso. Por lo que. That's why. That's why it's called the meeting room. So I hold my meetings in the meeting room. And how many meetings did you hold last month? I held probably 3 or 4 meetings only. I don't hold meetings very often. I held 3 or 4 meetings in the meeting room. What time did you leave work last night? Last night. I didn't leave work last night. I left work yesterday afternoon. I left work a little early. I left work. Fíjate que la T de left, que es lo mismo que izquierda. Mano izquierda, left hand. Y lo mismo que dejar. O sea, dejar, o se te olvida, me dejé. Me dejé la mano izquierda aquí ayer. I left my left hand here. Yeah. Left. I left my left hand here. Cuando salí de aquí, me dejé la mano izquierda. When I left here yesterday, I left my left hand. All right. When I left work, fíjate, lo voy a diseccionar fonéticamente. I left work. I left work. Twerk. Twerk. Twirl. I left work. I left work. Así se pronuncia. I left work. What time did you leave work? I left work. What time did you leave work yesterday? I left work at 4 p.m. early. What time did you leave work the day before? The day before I left work around 6:30. What time did you leave work every day last week? Well, it depends. But in general, last week I left work around 6 p.m. All right. And did you say goodbye when you left work? Well, I always say goodbye when I leave work. And yesterday, did you say goodbye to Marta when you left work? No, I didn't say goodbye to Marta when I left work yesterday. Why didn't you say goodbye? Because she wasn't here. Where was she? I don't know. She wasn't here. And why wasn't she here? Because she usually leaves work before I do. Yesterday I left work at 4. She was probably here, but I didn't say goodbye. And why didn't you say goodbye? Because her office isn't near my office. Marta and I come together here in this studio. Otherwise, de otro modo, we're in different parts of the office. All right. But did you say goodbye to anybody when you left work? Yeah, I said goodbye to a few people. Bye, 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 when I was leaving. One person said, "You're leaving early." I said, "Yes, I have an appointment." Ah, did you have an appointment yesterday after work? No, I didn't, but I told everybody I had an appointment. Really? You told everybody you had an appointment, but you didn't really have an appointment. That's true. I told everybody I had an appointment. Una cita con el médico, dentista, etc. But it wasn't true. So you lied. Well, yeah, okay, fine, I lied. Yeah, piadosa lie. It was a white lie. But you lied to your people. Do you always lie to your people? No. No, I don't lie to my people. But yesterday I said I had an appointment because I needed to leave early. But what did you do? You're a little nosy, you know? Eres un poco cotilla. You're asking me a lot of questions. It's none of your business. Excuse me? It's none of your business. I don't understand. Business? Negocios? Yes, business means negocios. But the expression none, como none, ninguno, none escrito none. It's none of your business means no es asunto tuyo. Así se dice, siempre se dice así. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. It's none of your point of view, none of your, it's none of your business. All right, lo hemos terminado todo, right? Luigi Barghini. Are you ready? Look at the picture. Seguro que va a aparecer. Si no está, estará. There's a picture of Luigi Barghini. Well, you can see Luigi Barghini from behind. And you see his daughter, Anna Barghini. And you see another man. He's a nice-looking man, don't you think? Parece majo. He's a nice-looking man. Yes. What's his name? Well, let's find out. Averigüémoslo. Let's find out. Are you ready? Luigi Barghini. Listen. Luigi Barghini spent 3 days in Germany last week. He flew to Stuttgart with his daughter Anna, the general manager of Luigi's company. They stayed in the Regency Hotel. También se puede decir they stayed at the Regency Hotel. Both are correct. They stayed in the Regency Hotel. They stayed at. Lo importante es, enlazamos. Stayed in, stayed at. La D de stayed, manda. They stayed in the Regency Hotel. On the first day, they had a meeting in the morning with the chairman of Mercedes-Benz. The chairman. That's the most important person in the company. Mercedes is a monster. It's a big company. And Luigi and Anna had a meeting in the morning. On the first day, they had a meeting with the chairman of Mercedes-Benz. The meeting started at 11 a.m. and lasted 45 minutes. They spent a lot of the 45 minutes talking about the Agnelli family at Fiat. Agnelli, is the family that owns Fiat, or owns the majority of Fiat, or an important stake, an important package of shares in Fiat. Giovanni Agnelli. They also own Juventus de Turin, the football team, the football club. All right. This meeting, I think, was simply a courtesy meeting, because Luigi's company is the second biggest car seat company in Europe. I think the meeting with the chairman was not really a business meeting. It was a courtesy meeting. And so Luigi and Anna had their first meeting, 45 minutes. It lasted 45 minutes. And they spent a lot of that time, a lot of the 45 minutes, talking about the Agnelli family at Fiat. Why? Oh, because Luigi knows the Agnelli family very well. Because Luigi's number one customer is Fiat. All right. At 12 o'clock, Luigi and Anna had lunch with the chairman, the same man, and with the managing director in the private dining room on the top floor. La planta noble, the top floor. The private dining room. So there were four people. There was Luigi, Anna, the chairman, and the managing director. The managing director, or the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. So they, at 12 o'clock, Luigi and Anna had lunch with the chairman and with the managing director in the private dining room on the top floor. On the top floor, on the bottom floor. Yes. But this is at the top of the page, at the bottom of the page. But in a building, on the top floor. Behind me, there are a lot of buildings. Yes. I'm going to go to the top floor. I will be on the top floor of everyone. All right. At 12 o'clock, Luigi and Anna had lunch with the chairman and the managing director on the top floor. Well, in the private dining room. Comedor privado, dining room. In the private dining room on the top floor. They talked about. Talk about. ¿Y qué significa tabout? Pues no significa nada. Es la ed de talked enlazado a about. They talked about. Talked about. Talked about. Habla, hola tabout. Habla tabout. Imagina que tienes un perro que se llama tabout. Habla tabout. Talked about. Talk to me. Talked about. Así se dice. Hablaron sobre, o hablé sobre, hablaste sobre. You talked about, I talked about, he talked about, she talked about, they talked about. They talked about the market situation for luxury cars and about the competition from Japanese models. Toma. Yes. They talked about the market situation for luxury cars. Coches de lujo. Luigi's car seats are usually not for luxury cars. It's for utility cars like the Fiat whatever, Fiat Uno, these cars. And the contract they are negotiating with Mercedes-Benz is for the small models, not the big luxury. Coches de lujo, luxury. luxury. X en medio, luxury, claro. Escucha la pronunciación. Je suis, je sais. Like in French, luxury. Or like the Argentinians. Yo quiero, yo. Luxury, luxury. No le cuesta a los argentinos o uruguayos decir luxury. Luxury. So they talked about the market situation, Portugal, future, the market situation for luxury cars, and about the competition from, la competencia, proveniente de, the competition from Japanese models. Honda, like Akimorita's company. After lunch, Luigi and Anna went back to the hotel and spent 2 hours planning the 3 meetings for the next day. Yeah, the second day is the important day. So, after lunch, Luigi and Anna went back. They returned. They went back to the hotel and spent 2 hours planning the 3 meetings for the next day. In the evening, they had dinner with the purchasing manager of Mercedes. Director de compras, with Carl Polster. Right here. You see him? That's Carl Polster. Carl knew Anna very well. He knew, la conocía. Carl knew Anna. Carl con K, Carl knew Anna very well because the 2 companies, Luigi's company and Mercedes, were negotiating a contract for car seats. Carl was 34 years old. I'm looking at his picture. Carl was 34 years old and single. Toma. Yes. And he liked Anna very much. He was in favor of working with Luigi's company because he wanted to continue seeing Anna as much as possible. She was beautiful and rich. He knew that she was single, but he didn't know if she had a relationship with anyone in Italy. During the dinner, Luigi noticed that Carl was paying a lot of attention to Anna. But he didn't say anything to his daughter later that night. He wanted to concentrate on the important meetings for the next day. So Luigi, the father, he saw that there was something between them, at least Carl towards Anna, hacia Anna. Anna towards Carl? Initially, probably not. Luigi Berghini spent 3 days in Germany. Where did he spend 3 days? He spent 3 days in Germany. Did he spend those 3 days in Germany last week or the week before last? He spent those 3 days, aquellos 3 días, esos 3 días. He spent those 3 days in Germany last week. Not the week before last, but last week. No hace 2 semanas, sino la semana pasada. Not 2 weeks ago, but last week. Not the week before last, but. So, but, además de pero, significa sino. But last week. Did he go alone? Who? Did Luigi go to Germany alone? No, he didn't. Who did he go with? Excuse me? Who did he go with? Who did he go with? ¿Quién fue con? ¿Con quién fue? Who did he go with? He went with his daughter, Anna. But where did they go in Germany? Did they go to Munich? No, they didn't. Well, did they go to Berlin? No, they didn't. Where did they go? They went to Stuttgart. Stuttgart? Why did they go to Stuttgart? Well, they went to Stuttgart because the headquarters, sede central, of Mercedes is in Stuttgart. Oh. They went to visit Mercedes-Benz. They didn't go on vacation. Oh, did they drive there? From Verona to Stuttgart. Drive? No, they didn't. Well, did they go by train? No, they didn't. Well, how did they go? They flew. They what? They flew. They flew from Verona. Well, they flew, yes. They flew from Verona to Stuttgart. Really? Okay. Driving would be 10 hours maybe, crossing through the Alps. Yes, crossing through the Alps. So they flew there. And did they make reservations for a hotel? Oh, yes, they did. Where did they stay? They stayed in the Regency Hotel. Did they have any meetings on the first day? Well, yeah, on the first day they had 2 meetings and a dinner. 2 meetings and a dinner. Where did the meetings take place? The meetings took place, tuvieron lugar. En inglés decimos tomaron lugar. The meetings took place in Mercedes. And where did the dinner take place? The dinner took place in a local restaurant. All right. And who was the meeting with? Which one? The first one or the second one? Excuse me? Which one? You said, who was the meeting with? ¿Con quién fue la reunión? Which one? The first meeting or the second meeting? Well, who was the first meeting with? The first meeting was with the chairman of the company. Oh, really? Yeah. What time did it start? Excuse me? What time did it start? What? The meeting with the chairman. Oh, it started at 12 o'clock, 12 noon. Did it last very long? Well, not too long. Well, how long did it last? It lasted 45 minutes. Did they talk business? En inglés se dice hablar negocios, así, o negocio. Did they talk business? Not really. What did they talk about? They talked about the Agnelli family, the Agnelli family in Italy, in Fiat. Did they only talk about that? No, they talked about other subjects or other topics, but basically they talked about the Agnelli family. And what time did the next meeting start? Wait a minute, I'm wrong. No, I made a mistake. The first meeting didn't start at 12 o'clock. No, it didn't start at 12 o'clock. Well, what time did it start? It started at 11, right? Yeah, it started at 11. It lasted 45 minutes, so it ended at 11:45. And what time did the next meeting start? The next meeting started 15 minutes later at 12 o'clock noon. Really? Was it an important meeting? Well, it was a courtesy meeting, as well, like the first one, al igual que la primera. Like the first one, it was a lunch meeting. They had lunch. Who had lunch? Luigi and Anna. Where did they have lunch? Well, they had lunch in the Mercedes-Benz headquarters. Who did they have lunch with? They had lunch with the same person, with the chairman. Really? Who else did they have lunch with? They also had lunch with the managing director. Is there another word for managing director? Yes, the CEO. CEO, 3 letters. What does CEO stand for? CEO stands for Chief Executive Officer. So Luigi and Anna had lunch with 2 German men. Well, yeah, because the chairman is a man and the managing director is a man as well. So 4 people had lunch together last week at the top of the building, on the top floor. Yes. Why on the top floor? Because the company, Mercedes, has a private dining room on the top floor. So they had lunch in the private dining room. Yes, they did. What did they have for lunch? I don't know. Sauerkraut, maybe. Chukrut. You never know. I don't know. Probably Nurembergers, hamburgers, and bratwurst and sauerkraut. I don't know what they had. Did they drink wine or beer? I think they drank water or Coca-Cola or Pepsi. All right. They didn't drink alcohol. All right. And did they have a meeting after that? No, they didn't. Well, what did they do? They went back to the hotel. Why? I'll tell you tomorrow.